The twig Christmas tree. This one was a challenge, but we are going to use the Dollar Tree twig pick and a clay pot. I'm also going to introduce you to the white wax and how you should use it. These brushes are especially designed to apply white wax or any of your waxes, and I'm using the white wax. If you place that directly on your clay pot, when it finishes, it will have this beautiful white glaze, making it look very vintage and nostalgic. This matches any decor. I have yet to find one it did not suit. When you unbundle your twig pack, you can lay the floral pick aside, and you will find that they have the twigs along with the brush. So grab you your wooden dowel, and right now we're just kind of spot checking how far above we want these to come out of the pot and how long they are. With this size, I was able to cut these directly in half. This gives me a multiple bundle of twigs. Now this is using a pick of twigs you can go outside and borrow from Mother Nature. These are the 1/4 inch wooden dowels, also from Dollar Tree, and I painted mine brown, suitable for a tree trunk. What you'll do is you'll go about gluing your sticks onto your dowel. Pay close attention and apply 1 inch or so from the top. Do not glue the twig on the entire length of your wooden dowel. The reason why, we want an umbrella effect. Now at first they're going to start kind of swishing one direction. This is perfectly normal. But if you turn it upside down, you can see that the wooden dowel is directly in the center. And you'll just keep stacking them and gluing them. And my friends, this does take a little bit of time. It was a pleasure making it, but trust me, it was a challenge. And I have removed all the bad footage and getting directly to what to do and what not to do. So I'm going to show you a replay. You want to spread those out, which is the brush that comes in that twig pack. You want to spread them out kind of in a line, put your glue on, and then place them all about the outer perimeter. There is more than enough to go all the way around your tree. You're going to take your jute twine or cord and wrap it really, really good. We want to make this like a brush broom, and you'll tie it, so several winds of your jute twine. Taking your white paint and watering it down to a thin water substance for a whitewash, and just brush it about it. Don't forget the top. This is what you're going to look like at the halfway mark. We're not quite ready. We need to go ahead and decide, are we going to place berries and so forth to adorn your twig tree? Before you do that, now that it's good and dry, you want to pull it out, fluff it up. And we want to make sure that it's going to look not so attractive in the beginning. But get your clay pot ready. I put some floral sponge in there, and I put this little metal brace I had left over from a ceiling fan in the center, just so I have something sitting there, and really did not need it. Give your twig tree a haircut, trimming it down, and now you've got about 2 or 3 inches from the bottom of your clay pot. Strategically place your berries by gluing them. Be careful, it's hot. I added wooden stars. And now deciding Spanish moss or reindeer moss. And reindeer moss won for me. You want to glue it into the top. And voila, here she is. Very shabby chic, gorgeous twig tree for year round. This year's Snowman Reach for the Stars, as you guys know, I'm very popular and I always make this. I'm repurposing the doll clothespins, a wooden slice, and you will need 1 wooden bead. It's really neat because a previous project we had used these doll pins, and you'll see that soon. This floral pick came from Dollar Tree. It's one of the rose thorn bundles, and we're going to take the lower part of that doll pin, because I had cut the ends off of them, and glue it to our wooden slice in the center. Put your wooden bead for his head atop. The hole that's already in the wood slices, we're going to use to place our little tree. But we need to build out the tree. That's why this floral pick that was the rose thorn bundle, you can clip it, and you're going to use the floral wire, clean it off, and then take those snippets and glue them onto it, making the little branches. Now, it may seem delicate, but it moves really swift and quickly. And we want to make it kind of, scrawny and, a stick tree. You're going to glue it into the existing wood slice hole. Now we've got that part done. Let's create him some arms. So taking another snippet of the floral pick and bending it with your needle nose pliers just on one end. You'll just have to eyeball it to get a good measurement on how long your arms need to be. I brought this up close so you can see how I just put a little dab of glue, wipe off the excess, and I put one arm down lower. And then the other one, of course, is going to be reaching upward to hold the tree. This goes really, really quick. You can put this together really fast. You could use your wooden dowel from your foam brushes as the snowman's body. So we got it built. Grab you a wooden star, and I got these from Hobby Lobby. Your Sharpie marker. Place 2 dots for his eyes, and then I did create him a little line smile. He's so small. Glued the star atop and created him a halo with that floral pick. Voila, here we have our Reach for the Star snowman. You're going to love these slat ornaments. We're going to make the ho-ho ornament, and I'm using a red along with some wire, and we're going to use 3 bells for this particular one. The wood slats I got from Dollar Tree, and the red, as you can see, is an apple barrel paint. Go ahead and paint your slat the color that you choose. For this particular one, you will need a red. Grab your metallic copper if you do not have copper bells or rusted bells, and I took some silver ones and painted them copper. Of course, I got my handy dandy drill, drilled the holes through the wood slat. It just makes it easier. It makes it more primitive type of Christmas DIY. Take your sanding sponge and rough it up. That gives it that rustic look. And using your floral wire and a pencil, you can twist it into a curlicue. This really truly gives it a true, authentic, primitive look. And when you twist your wire, you want to make them almost like curlicues in the very front for the holder. Grab your black paint marker, and I'm sure you guys have beautiful handwriting, and make your font. You want to put a leg on your H. And when you glue your bells, they're going to take the place of the O's. And it does jingle and sounds great. Tie you a piece of ribbon at the top. Ho, ho, ho. So next, we are going to do the Get Your Jingle On ornament. This I am using a marsh green and one of the wood slats from Dollar Tree. When you put this green on, it is gorgeous, and this particular ornament does call for green. Your sanding sponge once again to rough it up, and it turns out really vintage looking. Your twisted wire for your hanger, and now you're going to get a red and white paint marker. The way you want to do this is about middle ways you're going to write the word Jingle, and it's done in a very plain square box font. You could use your vinyl cutting machine to do this if you wanted to. In the white, you're going to put Get Your and On. What you'll do now is take and go back with the white and put a dash around Jingle, almost like it's a blinking, flashing sign with a traveling light. Those little dashes make it stand out. And then inside of the lettering, you want to kind of sketchy etching of the white over top of the red. We'll be patient with this because you want to let your red dry real good so it doesn't bleed into your white marker. And you will need to go over it a couple of coats. Here's my trick on how I string bells. I take my cord and go ahead and put the bells on, and then I place a knot where I would desire my bell to stay and remain, and just loop it under just a single time, and they'll stay right there. They won't ever move. Grab a piece of your corrugated red ribbon, or just any red ribbon, and you want to make it kind of long because it's going to extend beyond the board. And the idea of this, to put that dangle there, is the whole point of get your jingle on. Now I just did a slip knot to catch it around it, just like a tag, and make sure it's at the top of my cord. Once you cut your cord to the length you desire, you'll tie that up atop on your wire. Now, this has nothing to do with me being a cosmetologist, but it did look better to braid the ribbon around the bells and then tied it off at the bottom and still left the ribbons dangling. Voila! Get your jingle on. This is a neat ornament and it makes the bell sound. So next up, let's do the Snowman Joy ornament. I am using my Payne's Gray, which is a blue from Americana. Once you paint your board, of course, you want to grab your white paint marker. Go ahead and put the snowman face in the center. Then you're going to draw your three-dimensional chunk letters like you did in school. I'm an 80s gal, so all of our favorite bands, as well as your boyfriend, you had to write on your notebook. Take and go back to the white circle once you've gotten your additional layer on it and got it as white as you like, and put the dashes on the outer edges. Grab your black paint marker and place a snowman face and his charcoal smile. With my orange Sharpie, I drew his nose and colored it in. Once you create it, round it off where it's going into his body and dot his eyes. A little piece of the ribbon cut slender and glued for a scarf, and add you a little bit of florals just to top it off. Now here's my trick to adhere that wire so it doesn't scoot around and move and shift, is just a little bit of hot glue. Take your homespun or your ribbon, tie one at the top, and rough this one up a little bit. There's your primitive Joy Snowman ornament. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dandy Soap DIY channel. It's been a little while since you saw me, so I came on to share with you how I encourage my family to eat my home cannon first, before any other can in the cabinet. It is such a neat, simple, clever little trick to encourage them to eat healthy and to pick the foods that we have grown and brought in, harvested, and worked so hard preparing. Put a label on it. It's that simple. So walk with me. I'm going to show you how I download labels, print them, and attach them to my jars, and encourage healthy living and get them to pick the home cannon over anything else in the cabinet. Come with me. So here's a sneak preview of DIYer and crafters designs by Dandy Soap that will be offered. You'll find them available underneath the video where the merchant bar is. We're on Pinterest right now at my laptop, and I'm showing you that you can go on there and find different labels that are free downloadable. If you click the download button, it's going to give you all these offers. Copy the link, email it. But there's an easier way to go about downloading it. So click on the actual photo. When you bring it up, if you look real close, you see those three little dots. Now, if you press the download button, you're going to have the same offer as before. But if you click on the three dots, you will see download image. So you can select download the image, and it's going to bring up your computer when you click it. You can now name it or leave it named and place it in the folder file that you desire. Once you do that, it is now on your computer or laptop, whichever you choose. If you happen to be using a tablet, you will see this is a quick offer and you can immediately click on it and save it as your downloads. So now we have downloaded it to our computer. Let's go to Google. Click on images before you do a search. When you create your search, it's going to automatically bring up the images on Google. So here we have many offers to select from. And if you see one that you really, really like, you will notice that a lot of times when you click on it, it's already on Pinterest, or you have the ability to pin it to Pinterest. So I'm just picking one here to show you an example. Let's say we like this. You can automatically right-click on your mouse for your computer and select Save Image As and download it to your computer, once again selecting the file you desire. There's another way to simply get the file. If you wanted to see things related to this label, you could click on the Pinterest button. It'll take you to Pinterest, and you might just find this one right here. You will find this one on My Pinterest, and you can download it by clicking the three dots again and saving it to your computer. You now have these labels available. And of course, open up your file on your computer and print them to your printer. That way you have what you want. Here are some of the ones that I selected for the side of the jar and the top of the jar. Really simple. Get your packing tape, and when you print off your labels you desire, cut them and place your packing tape over them. You can select at this point to use a permanent magic marker and save them for later, and they're waterproof for the outside, but they come off really easy when you get ready to cleanse your jar to use for another year, or if you've given this to a friend or postal carrier or neighbor. Now you can go ahead and pre-write what you are planning on putting this label on, then use the packing tape to cover it, once again ensuring that it doesn't rub off or degrade over a period of time. And now it's pretty much ready to go on the side of your jars. The round ones, here is a little trick for you. These are 2.5-inch round for the top of the jar. They fit perfect. So you can go ahead and write out what you're planning on placing them on and have extras for later. This I got for clearance, a 2.5-inch punch. This is the DK punches. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby or like I did at Target on clearance. And I encourage you to have one because you'll use it all the time. It locks into place, it stores real easy, and it is for heavy duty paper, so it will cut through layers of thickness. This makes it really easy. So I'm going to show it to you upside down. And this is my way to ensure that I am clipping them in the perfect place. Whenever I slide it on there, I can flip it over and I can see right through the paper and see that I didn't have it lined up, so I'm sliding it over. And in one foul swoop, snap out all 3 labels. And there's my extra for later. Just a really, really excellent tool to own and have. And this makes great gift tags and all kinds of tags you may use it for. When you're done, you can easily put up your punch, lock it in place, and now you are ready to label your canned goods to encourage your family. So I have a stack here, and the other thing I do for the top of the jar, rather than regular tape, I use double-sided tape you can get at Dollar Tree or most anywhere. Makes labeling your jars a breeze. And here you go. These look just as nice and spiffy as anywhere you could go and purchase canned goods. And I trust your family will pick your canning first. and a loved one will love the gesture too. This next project is wooden candle displays. We're going to do a primitive farmhouse style and a traditional farmhouse style for Christmas or your everyday home decor. We're going to take pallet wood, and we have some 1x1s here. As you see, I have made them into candles, and I've chosen to take a 1x4 and cut it for a display. Now I'm going to give you my twist and show you some new techniques, or revisit some ones that we used to use a lot, and show you how I make things so that they are functional. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a base coat on our wood. I've chosen elephant for the primitive and engine red along with white on the traditional. So I've already got my base coat painted onto my wood pieces, and we are going to revisit Crackle Technique. This is an oldie but a goodie, and it makes things look very vintage and old-fashioned but very stylish. We're going to bring it up to date. So I want you to pay attention. This is really important. When you use Crackle Medium, this is folk art, you can purchase it. You want to put a thin, even coat. Watch carefully as I am demonstrating to you how to apply this medium. You do not want to oversaturate, but you want full coverage. You want it thin and even and all about your surface area. We're not going to do the top and bottom. We're just going to do the highly exposed fronts and backs and sides. Now see how this is damp? We need to allow the Crackle Medium to dry all the way. You are going to be seeing this change before your eyes. So we have our base coat. That is what we want to expose when it crackles. We're going to put the ink black chalk paint. Chalk paint dries very quickly, so do your best to get it on there as quickly as possible, and you cannot stroke back and forth whenever you are applying paint on top of Crackle Medium. So try not to double back. Get it on there and move swiftly. Just get the paint on the board. Don't spend all day swiping back and forth. Now, I try my best on this channel, guys, because I adore you. See, you can already see it's starting to take effect. That's why you don't want to double back. So paint quickly as possible and make your strokes even and well coated. And I'm dipping into this. If I had it on a palette, it'd move a lot swifter. So do as I say, so to speak. Learn by example. And I'm sharing this with you because Crackle Medium used to be really, really popular among us who have crafted for many years. And if you revisit some of these old techniques, you're going to fall in love with them all over again and bring it up to date. Now I'm using my heat gun, and if you watch the effect, you can see it's very quickly crackling up. And if you want to hasten the drying process with your heat gun, by all means do. I do not use a dryer because a hair dryer moves stuff. I don't want it to move, I just want it to dry. Now I'm going to also show you this. This had the elephant gray first, and then the white is the top coat. So I want the crackle effect to show and reflect the elephant gray underneath. And you can see it change before your very eyes. On my channel, you guys know that I show you and share with you tips, hacks, and I want you to know how to do it. You can dress it up any way you like, but I love functional decor because I am limited on my living space. I want it to be beautiful, but at the same time, I need it to double duty. I need it to have functionality so that it blends very well and it's not taking up any additional space. So taking the yellow, you can take a wooden dowel and use a pencil sharpener to sharpen it down into a point and place it in the top. And I drilled a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch drill bit in the top. Now this had the engine red underneath and the white on top, and then reverse for the candlesticks. I did white as the base and then the engine red on the top. And you can see it change before your eyes, the crackling effect. And they are absolutely beautiful. just beautiful, and the crackling is just gorgeous. The thicker your crackle, the larger the cracks. The thinner your medium, the finer the cracks. So this is how we're going to make this one a traditional farmhouse. The buffalo check ribbon is the popular thing right now for the 2000s and 20s. We're going to just put 2 types of ribbon on our candles. One is a 2.5-inch wide ribbon, and you want to stay about 2 inches from the top. Further up, the better. Now, adding some stars to your bands of ribbon and a little bit of greenery behind it will give it that traditional farmhouse Christmas decor look. And I just took picks and little tiny sprigs and glued them in the front. The great thing about these particular wooden candlesticks, unlike the others I have been observing others make, we can change this up as we go along. And people may find this in a thrift store someday and go, wow, that was really neat back then, let me bring it up to date. The metal little truck is an ornament, and I got this from Dollar General, and my daughter's going to love it, so I glued it in the very front. I'm going to give this to her because I know it's functional, and she can put a salt and pepper shaker there or napkins in between the truck and the candles. Completely functional, and she may have some other little red truck things. So it 'tis the season for traditional candlesticks. Now on to our primitive candlesticks. Once again, I have created the display out front. I have set them in a symmetrical form when I place them onto the display. And I am double ribbon on the candlesticks. The stars come from Dollar Tree, and these are these paper ones that look wooden. They're absolutely stunning and beautiful. Here's my orphan jelly jar. She has a little crack, and they had the lantern holder lids at Dollar Tree. Create this little display in the front here to make it functional. So I cut me some homespun. These are the mini sunflowers from Dollar Tree, and placed a few sprigs into the jar. I had these gray and white beads garland from Walmart, and I'm going to create me my tassel wooden beads. And I take a clip and just pin it there or place it there, snip it apart, that way they stay all strung. The mason jar ornaments here or tags you're going to love. You'll find the affiliate link down below. And the stars I also got from Walmart as an ornament for a mini tree. Strung my beads together, put my tassel on the side with my jute twine and my ball cannon jar tag, and just placed it on the display. This one is my absolute favorite. This is Primitive DIY in a whole fashion wholeheartedly. So for your primitive decor and bringing it up to farmhouse style, voila. And she is magnificent. This is my favorite out of all that I have made, and I love them all, but this is my absolute favorite. We are going to make a rustic twig ladder, and this is using your sources of Mother Nature. Grab 2 pine twigs from off of your tree, your cedar tree, and you're going to just place them there and create you a miniature ladder. I used my heavy duty snips, as I recommend you guys use. You can get these cobalt snips from any hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot. And the length, I wanted at least 5 ladders. Now I'm just kind of sizing it up before I glue it. When you glue your stick acrossways, you want it to extend on each side so it truly looks like a ladder, and it's also good to hold the things you adorn it with. Now the cross tie, I'm going to show it to you. You'll take your G-twine or cord, you're going to wrap it diagonal coming from the back. Come across the front and make the X. You can do this 2 times or single. Most time it takes 2 times because the string cord will slide. Tie it off and then secure it with a little bit of hot melt on the back. clip off the differences. Now we are ready to decorate. So this is what I did with my little crooked Rustic Twig Christmas ladder. And this is very primitive, rustic Christmas decor. And I'm taking leftovers. These candy canes you get from Dollar Tree, wrap them with ribbon, make them any color you like, and they're gorgeous. So I took 2 little pieces of greenery, and I glued that down the one side of my ladder, along with a little bit of berries at the top. I placed the candy cane ribbon candy cane on top of that with a little glue, and once it dried, I had this leftover wooden tree from off of the camper from a previous DIY. You guys know I repurpose, reuse everything. Nothing goes to waste. Everything has its own little special place in my home. I took some pine cones and the pieces from the Dollar Tree little bags and placed them about the ladder. And I had to have my little red truck. I love the little red truck. He's part of my theme for my Christmas decor. And I wanted to place him on there. So I grabbed me 2 bells and my jute twine. And I made this string pretty long. I tied 1 bell to one end, and then I selected how far out and chose me a silver one. Red and silver and blue and silver are my Christmas colors. Now, I just knot in place where I want those bells to stay so they do not go any further. They will remain there. Once I have that set, now I'm just going to do a little slide bow in the top. Yes, it will have 3 strands, but no one's going to notice that when you get this all placed on your Rustic Twig Ladder. So I glued that just above my little postcard looking little red truck. And the ribbon just looks like a postcard, and just adorning it with little trimmings of Christmas. Put my bells on. I made me a mini burlap red bow, and voila, here she is. And I had the leftover stick that works perfect to prop it against. And it pretty much sits anywhere. It's real lightweight. And I wanted to show it up to you close so you can see how you can decorate yours and make it special and unique. This would be a beautiful gift for someone, and it's gorgeous. Thank you all so much for joining me on this DIY. These DIYs are going to keep you busy. They're going to make your home into a Christmas traditional or primitive Christmas DIY. So for your primitive Christmas decor and your traditional Christmas decor, welcome all these projects. I would like to know what you plan to do with all of your projects. The ornaments are a nice gesture to our loved ones, as well as adorning our home, our coffee trays, as well as hanging on our tree. And as you can see, everything sitting here together looks absolutely beautiful. And as I place this about my home, it will be appreciated. My daughter is going to love her wooden candle display that her father cut the wood for. And my other daughter is going to really have a nice looking office that people will envy and want to know, where'd you get that? These ornaments will definitely go to someone I love, each one of my grandchildren, and I love all of you. Have a wonderful Christmas in July, and till the next DIY, well, this is Elizabeth, and I will be crafting y'all. Bye.